This is Rafik Luzon, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk. Oh yeah, we are back again with Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafik Luzon alongside Deb Whitcas, fresh off the Super Bowl 60 weekend. How you doing this weekend?
I'm tired. I have to be honest. We blazed through Super Bowl week. We had a blast. We made it work. It was busy, 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 busy. I started makeup at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, and went to media availability in the mornings, and then I worked till like midnight every day. So it was great. Tons of content, tons of great connections, and yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah. What is looking back at it now? What are some of the more favorite interviews you've done down there during the Super Bowl week?
Sure. So I did have a booth at Media Row. I had a booth for my podcast, The Blonde Blitz, and I think my two favorites, Lorenzo Neal, NFL legend, fullback, played for several different teams. The Chargers, one of them. He now has a show on Believe, the sports network. We had a great connection. We talked for at least like 20 minutes and just about everything. He's a girl dad, and he loves what I'm doing with the Blonde Blitz, and empowering women and empowering women in sports. And yeah, we just had a great time. We had a lot in common, and it was just a really great conversation. The other interview, of course, Lee Steinberg, super agent, the pretty much the first agent in the NFL. Jerry Maguire was pretty much based on his life. So that was great to have Lee sit down and talk with me for, 10, 15 minutes. He came from Stephen A. Smith to me. So that was a compliment. And he actually told Stephen that he had to go because he was interviewing with me. So that was cool.
Mm, the same
Mhm.
Stephen A. Smith we see on TV almost every weekday.
Correct. Yep. That's who he came from. Like his interview was before mine, and his PR guy was like, "We cannot be late to Deb. You have to tell Steven he has to wrap it up." So I took that as a compliment.
You see, that's thinking about the up and coming. I mean, yeah. I
It
mean,
was
you got
nice.
an opportunity. I mean, when you had something said, he had to go for it. I mean, what more can you do?
Yeah.
But after
Yeah.
the interview happened, like, I mean, what is like? There was some. I know. I can only imagine. You were down there. You experienced interviewing some of the top players in the NFL, even guys that weren't necessarily playing the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, and football
Yep.
was sexy. Football is sexy.
Yes, Monica. Yes, I
I've
actually
had
did
my.
Monica's event on Saturday before. So and Monica was down at Super Bowl as well. Like I saw her. She actually stopped by while I was interviewing Lee because she was supposed to interview, and then like we tried to work it out. We're gonna see each other in LA. I love Monica. I love what she's doing. She's teaching. And she's talking and she's teaching ball, and I love her platform. She's fabulous. We actually both interviewed Kathy Ireland together. So she interviewed her first, and then I had her after. So Kathy Ireland was there, working with the Off the Field Wives. So that was an honor to talk with her because she's one of my idols. She was a model, she was an actress, she's a huge entrepreneur, and she's worth millions of dollars, and she's absolutely the nicest woman alive. So that was another one of my favorites as well, to get to meet her.
I mean, why not? I mean, this young lady literally has a lot of passion for football. I remember interviewing her on my podcast like a few years ago. She talked about the passion of football, starting courtesy of her late father,
Yep.
being a 49ers fan and having to witness 49ers get to the Super Bowl and lose a couple of occasions to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hmm.
And she talked about like starting football sexy,
Yep.
see the evolution of it. She had made different interviews. We interviewed Michael Wilbon on and made different like actors and it was in NFL players for a
Hmm.
brand. You, Renee Washington, and many other women,
Hmm.
content creators, solely focused on football, got invested into doing business with her, even when it was just like one or two clips. I mean, the fact that this really showcases why football is sexy, that's very impressive on its own.
Yeah, she's great. She's done a great job with Football Sexy. I'm so proud of her. And I think she now has like 80,000 fans or followers, which is amazing. And yeah, she was there. She was doing her thing, and we had a blast. So
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the game itself, it was kind of not great. The
Wasn't the
Seattle
best
Seahawks
game.
got
It was definitely not
Seattle
the best
got their
Super
revenge
Bowl.
of the Patriots from their loss in 2014.
Yeah.
Fine, but the game on its own was literally over before it got started. It was not
Well,
nothing in the first half, at least, but
right.
they really ran him out the field
They
in the
did. And
second half.
I think we kind of knew this was going to happen, right? There was a 0.02 chance at the beginning of the season that these two teams were going to meet. So they really weren't supposed to be there, right? They were. Congratulations. Cool. The Seahawks were definitely a more balanced team. I mean, you've got the number one defense in the league. I really believe that the Patriots probably, if Bo Nix would not have broken his ankle with the Broncos, I don't think the Patriots would have even made it, to be honest. I think it would have been the Broncos or the Bills. But it happened, and things happen for a reason. The Rams weren't there either, right? The Rams should have beaten the Seahawks. They didn't. It is what it is. We had the Seahawks and the Patriots. It was a defensive game. It wasn't a high scoring game. Both defenses were solid. The Seahawks having the number one defense in the NFL this season. Patriots weren't far behind that. So yeah, we knew it was going to be a defensive game, and that's what it turned out to be. And it wasn't, there wasn't bombs being thrown down the field, and Drake May wasn't really on. And yeah, it was just a boring game. I do think though it was not the most boring game that I've seen in a while. I think the Atlanta Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Rams was the most boring game I've ever watched in my life.
Who are you telling? 13-3? I
Yeah,
mean, all it
that
takes
was
is good
bad.
defense to shut down the Los Angeles Rams.
Hmm.
I mean, the Patriots, their defense, all it took was to defeat the Denver Broncos team that was leading with a backup quarterback, 10-7. It was literally cold down there. I could only imagine. I mean, I've never been to Denver, Colorado. I've heard stories about about the altitude. It
Hmm.
hasn't really, I haven't processed it, but I know for a fact that the cold weather really affected the field goal kickers, and all it took was one made field goal by the Patriots and one touchdown for them to win that one. Now you face the Seattle Seahawks in a warmer weather, bigger stadium, a team
Hmm.
that actually had some offense to shut you down.
Yeah,
This is something Drake May's going to learn. Obviously, he has a lot. He has a long career ahead of him,
of course. Yeah.
and we got
Well,
to give it to Sam Darnold. He
oh,
didn't really
absolutely.
have much of a chance to make any Super Bowl run. We used with the Jets or the Carolina Panthers, and
Nope.
when he came to the Seahawks, he really got his career together.
Yeah, and I think Kyle Shanahan when he was a backup with the 49ers because he was Jets Panthers backup for 49ers, and I think that's where he really learned to be a quarterback was through Kyle Shanahan. And then he went to the Vikings. He obviously was shining with the Vikings, and then for some stupid reason they got rid of him for JJ McCarthy, which still makes no sense in my head. And then he went to show them, got picked up by the Seahawks, and now is a Super Bowl champion. So congratulations to Sam Darnold. He deserves every penny of that paycheck. So
He deserves that championship win. I mean, I got to give him credit. I mean, what else is there to
he
say?
stuck with it.
That Super Bowl was really, and you know, I'm happy for the Seattle winning on its own. That Super
Mhm.
Bowl is not going to be one of the most talked about Super Bowls, but
No,
it's up there. But now
still
get
Super
ready
Bowl.
to go back to SoFi Stadium once again next year as you get ready for Super Bowl
Yeah.
61. That should be fun at SoFi again. Broadcast
Yeah.
on ESPN.
Everyone's always already buzzing about it. People are planning already because LA is going to be big. To be honest, San Francisco was not that big. They cut Media Row by 100 tables, so there was 100 less media at Radio Row. So that was weird. Things were just kind of basic, to be honest. Like there wasn't big parties. Like we're used to, at the media party, we're used to, women doing acrobatic stuff from the ceilings and like the Jabberwockies performing, and there's a bunch of tricks and things. And this media party was just kind of food and people having some cocktails and like walking around. It really wasn't much. And I kind of felt like that was the way everything was. Like all the opening night is normally in a stadium. This was in the convention center in San Jose, and it was kind of just there. um there wasn't like a hoopla or like there wasn't a lot of fans around. like we're used to like the entire stadium being filled with fans and it being so loud and like you get that energy and it was just lacking with this Super Bowl. And there wasn't like huge stars either, like Sam Darnold was obviously one and like Drake May, but like they're not huge. They're not Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? They're not Kittle. They're not, they're not Josh Allen or, these stars. Um Obviously, like Stephon Diggs, yeah, he was there, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is a great name. He's up and coming, but there wasn't just like the star power for the Super Bowl, and I think it showed. And also, San Francisco is a very busy city, and everything was really spread out, so people couldn't get from place to place. Like the the convention center, the Moscone Center in San Francisco, that's where the experience was, and that's where Media Row was or Radio Row was. But then all the player availability was in Santa Clara or San Jose. So that's like a 2 hour drive in traffic. So it was just hard to get to everything. So it was just wasn't logistics was a bit of a nightmare for this one, but
Yeah, I
the
mean,
way it was.
even the Bad Bunny halftime performance. Yeah, it was nice to see Jessica Alba be there, and this lady named Early, who I'm hearing happens to be Tom Brady's new girlfriend.
Right.
She was partying with them at one point. Alex Early, I believe her name was.
Something like that. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah,
I
the
see,
influencer.
I really liked the Bad Bunny performance. I have to be honest. I wasn't sure what we were walking into, and I think the production quality was amazing. It's being a producer myself, it's really hard to pull off the stuff that he pulled off. And I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant that they used people as bushes. Like as grass because I guess there's some rule that only the halftime show you can only have so many trucks on the field so it doesn't agitate the grass so it doesn't ruin the grass for the players. And so they had people walking dressed up as grass and bushes they didn't have to use the trucks, so like that's a way around it. And I just thought the camera work was stellar and the way he followed them, and I thought he sounded great. I loved Ricky Martin. I loved Lady Gaga. They were surprised. I don't know how they kept that surprise. Like that's hard to do. And the cameos that you mentioned. The only thing I wish though was there was some English in there. Not necessarily him speaking English, but just maybe some subtitles. Like I would have liked to know what he was saying every once in a while. And I think that was like my only complaint though. But I thought it was like one of the best halftime shows I've seen. I loved it production wise. I was obsessed with it. I thought the ideas were great.
Yeah, I mean, they did everything he could to pull off that performance. And Bad Bunny did everything he could to entertain the crowd. What was literally a mediocre Super Bowl.
You think so?
I
Yeah.
mean, well,
Yeah.
not really the game itself, but not
Right.
really too mediocre. But I'm talking about like, for example, that there wasn't enough offense up until literally the end.
Right. Yeah, no, I get the Patriots started to come back a little bit, but there was no way they were holding them. So, yeah, no, the game itself was definitely just kind of blah. I think it was up there with of the most boring. I still think that Atlanta game takes the most boring though. I had a fight, not a fight, but I had a talk with another friend. She disagreed. She thought this was more boring. But I was like, no, the Atlanta game was the Rams Patriots was horrible. So, yeah. Yeah, just it's a Super Bowl. Moving on. LA 2027. Let's go. Like I already can't wait. I'm already making plans. So it'll be
Okay,
fun.
speaking of making plans, why don't you talk about what's next for Blonde Blitz now that
Sure.
this
Yeah.
football season is coming up?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's
So
the NFL Combine, the draft.
mhm.
Would you go do with your coverage about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have our Super Bowl wrap-up show next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Pacific. I unfortunately had a bad allergic reaction last week on Wednesday, so I was actually in the hospital. So I couldn't do the wrap-up show. So we are doing that next week on the 18th. And then we will be doing a draft show. I'm sorry, a combine show. I'm actually waiting for my credentials right now. They should be coming shortly. And then I will be hopefully at the combine, so I'll be reporting, from there. And then we'll probably do that combine show on Wednesday, March 4th. Then that'll be the show for March. I'm gonna do one in April, also for the draft. And then I'm gonna do a Blonde Blitz show once a month until the season comes back. So that's the plan right now. I don't think we need to do it weekly. We're not in season, but I think a show once a month would be fun to do just to keep the momentum going until we come back to the season.
I mean, why not? You never know what big free agency will pop up. I
Right.
mean, you may want to talk
Exactly.
about what the Eagles going to do with Saquon Barkley after they went home in the first, they went home in the wild card round to the 49ers.
Right. I mean, in Barkley staying, my concern is AJ Brown if he's coming back. I think he is. I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I think things need to change. I think they, obviously fired the OC. They brought in someone new, and we'll see how he does. And hopefully, he knows his X's and O's a little bit better than Kevin Patullo did. And we'll get, we'll get AJ back because you can't drop those balls. Like he obviously his mind was not in it in the wild card game, and he was one of the reasons why they lost that game. And you can't talk all the smack he's been talking all season and then drop the ball. Like that can't happen. But I do think he's one of the best wide receivers in the entire league. Him, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Lad McConkey, like they're great, and I think he's still up there as one of the best, but he just was not happy this season.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
There's always not unhappiness when you're not able to win.
Right, right. And I think the issue was he wasn't in the schemes. Like he wasn't written into the routes and into the schemes. You know what I mean? He just for some reason Kevin Patullo just didn't utilize his skills. And I think Jalen Hurts was frustrated as well. I think the entire team was. So we'll see. And and Barkley obviously had a stellar season last season and I mean Barkley's Saquon Barkley, but he started to come back a little bit, but he definitely didn't put up the numbers that he put up last season. But he'll be back. I mean, he's not going anywhere. But
Yeah. I mean, obviously, for me, at the other hand, just to announce, long story short, I'm no longer doing my show at WSU Radio. My time there is done, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But the sports talk will continue.
cool.
It's digital until I find another spot to continue to do my show in person. And don't worry, whenever NFL draft and later season NFL season comes out, I'll bring you back to
Cool.
talk some football on a weekly basis.
Awesome.
And
Perfect.
I'm going to be locked in, and I'm just locked in on finishing my degree, just finishing my PhD now that.
How's that going?
All I'm going to tell you is academic success is on a mile high. Could have been better, but still on a mile high.
Good. Cool. That's hard to do. Congratulations. That's tough to do. To
Yeah,
work and survive and get your PhD at the same time. Props to
yeah.
you for sure.
At this point, I'm just hoping that what I've done down there at my time is enough to get hired, and maybe
Right.
one day me and you work together. I mean, we never saw each other physically,
Right.
which
Which is
probably will
crazy
happen.
because I feel like I know you so well. I've been on the show so many times and you've been on, and yeah, I feel that's crazy that we've never actually met in person over the last 5 years.
Well, we all know how that's going to happen, and hopefully one day I get to be a special guest of the Blonde Blitz.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have you on. We'll have you on for hot takes or something during the season.
Yeah. All right, that concludes episode Nothing But That Sports. So thank you for stopping by Deb Whitcas. I'm
Sure.
Africa Lewis on. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, off.